Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sidney Katz, the Montgomery County Council member for the 3rd District, and I'm delighted that you're joining us once again on Zoom for our 20th, which seems hard to believe, our 20th business briefing. The purpose of our briefings is to help local businesses and nonprofits navigate through our new economic reality. I'm extremely happy to welcome 2 wonderful small business owners, Jillian Copeland, owner of Soulful Cafe in downtown Rockville, and Roxana Rojas, owner of We Art Fun in Germantown. I should mention that Jillian is also the founder of Main Street in Rockville and recent co-owner of Bethesda Beat. Our guests will introduce themselves with brief remarks, and then we will then take questions from our Zoom audience. Please send your questions to the chat box on the right of the screen. Before we start, I'd like to thank Laurie Edberg from my office for all of her hard work putting together all 20 of these briefings, and Susan Kennedy, who has been with us through all 20 as well, for doing an outstanding job moderating all of the business briefings. And with that, Susan, please let us begin.
Thank you, Sidney. Yeah, I cannot believe it's been 20 business briefings. It's just flown by, and we've learned so many amazing things and found out about a lot of great businesses in Montgomery County that we didn't even know about. So it's been very beneficial. So I'm going to ask our guests today to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves and their business. And Roxana, tell us a little bit about We Art Fun.
Hi, everybody. We Are Fun. It's a ceramic painting studio, kind of paint it yourself. So families and people in general come here, and we offer them a variety of ceramic pieces, figurines, houseware pieces, and we give them the paint that they need to use to paint them, and then we put them in the kiln for them so they can use them for food, food safe, and use them in the kitchen. We opened in March of this year, so we are relatively new, and so far people has been very good, very happy, and they have responded well to the new business.
It sounds like a really fun place to visit. We'll have to learn more as we continue the discussion here. Jillian, tell us about Soulful Cafe. And I know also it's part of Main Street, the new apartment building for folks in Rockville. Give us a little bit of a rundown of each.
Okay, great. Thank you, Susan, and thank you, Sid, and everyone, Laurie, for having me. Really love being here today with all of you. Jillian Copeland, and I'm the founder of Main Street Connect, and we are in Rockville Town Center, and we are an affordable, inclusive, accessible apartment building and community center. And we offer amazing programs, 22 programs a week on social, personal well-being, personal development, education, lots of interesting content, lots of opportunities to move, boxing, yoga, qigong, lots of really neat programs to help us breathe and get through this difficult time. So if you haven't been to Main Street yet, definitely come by and see us. We have 70 units here that are fully rented already, but we do have this community center space, and we open our doors to people from Rockville and beyond, and love you have to come tour, join us here, and come to our Soulful Cafe. The cafe is co-owned by Main Street Connect, which is a nonprofit, and Dawson's Market. And Bart from Dawson's Market is just an incredible person with an incredible mission. And we share that mission at Soulful Cafe, which is to hire and train anyone who's wants to be a part of this mission and be a part of Soulful, but especially people with varying abilities who have a hard time finding jobs elsewhere. So we have an inclusive training and hiring policy, and it's a really wonderful place, Soulful Cafe and Dawson's Market too, by the way. Organic foods, smoothies, coffees, a place to fill your cup, a place to fill your tummy, and it's so friendly and warm and welcoming and a place to fill your soul.
Very nice. Very, very nice. We're going to open it up to questions from our audience. If anybody has a question, please go ahead and send it to us in the Q&A or the chat, whichever you're most familiar with. And while we see if any of those questions come in, I have another question for Roxana while we're moving on here. Roxana, are you an artist, or what brought interest to you to start this type of business in Germantown?
I am an artist. I am a collage artist, actually. But at the same time, I've been working for 8 years as a Spanish interpreter. And that was telephonically from home. So there was a moment that I said, okay, this is it with this job. Because my children grew up, they weren't little ones anymore. So I thought, okay, it's time to go out and have more interaction with people and actually feel that I belong to this community and do something for the community. So I talked with my husband, he agreed, and we started this project. And why ceramic? Because I always like to take my children since they were little to places like this to paint. And I think it's a great thing to create memories. So that was made me think I can do this, and here I am, you know.
All right, so Roxana, you're talking to a person who appreciates art, but who probably has no artistic ability whatsoever. And if you think I do, check with my wife, and she will. Can you not hear me? And check with my wife; she'll tell you I have no artistic ability. But so, what happens when I walk in the door? And do I look around and see a bowl that I'm going to paint, or walk me through what happens when I walk through the door, please?
Yes, we have shelves full of ceramics. Maybe I can show you guys. So first thing, we welcome you in a very friendly way. And well, because of COVID, the first step is to go and wash your hands before you touch anything. Soap and water. We have a sink that is for utility sink for everybody. Then you go and pick up your pieces, any pieces that you want to paint, as many as you paint. Then you take a seat. Then you take a seat, and we give you the options that you have to paint it, and the brushes and the paint that you need. And then you leave it for us to do the process of firing in the kiln and getting ready for you. We call you and you come to pick up your pieces, which will sure look beautiful.
Very good.
Wonderful. And so I want to ask this to both of you. Obviously, it takes a lot to start a business, and I know many months of preparation and having to go through the permitting process and finding the right spot for your business. And obviously, we've been in quite an unusual time for the past 15 months. Jillian, I'll start with you. Where did the idea, or when did the idea about Soulful Cafe come to light? And then how were you able to make it come to fruition during the pandemic when we were in such uncertain times?
Thank you, Susan. Great question. I think when we knew when we were building Main Street, or when we had the idea to build Main Street, that we wanted to create inclusive opportunities for people, not just for community gathering, but for employment as well. And we started thinking, you know, how best to do that? Well, probably to engage pedestrians and community and bring people around Main Street together. And how better to do that than over a cup of coffee, right? So that's really how Soulful came about. And it is a place of gathering. We had thought about closing it at different times during COVID because we were losing money and it wasn't very crowded. And of course, people couldn't sit in there for a while and you're wearing a mask, and it was a little challenging. But luckily we were able to keep it open. In terms of, and really because of some grants that we received from the Restaurant Relief Grant and the Small Business Administration Restaurant Revitalization Fund, we were able to help keep the cafe open. In terms of opening it during COVID, I have to say I had very little to do with that. That was really Bart from Dawson's Market, who again is our co-owner. And Bart has an amazing team who work at the who worked at the cafe, and I think they got their heads together and they wanted to do it, and they were able to kind of figure it all out. So I think between them and our construction team here, Hercules Construction, who did our work, they just plowed through and they were able to open, and I'm really glad we did. And I do think for a lot of people who were not employed during COVID or underemployed, they were able to have a place to go and at least connect with people face to face, even if they were only in there for a few minutes. And it became a real lifeline, a real anchor for people. So it was a wonderful thing to do. Yes.
Well, and I was going to say, Bart really does an unbelievable job in Dawson's Market and for Soulful Cafe as well. And the amount of people whose lives he's been able to change, just like you and your husband, Scott, the lives that you've been able to change is absolutely remarkable. I mean, when Dawson's was looking, there was the possibility that I guess they did close for a short while, but I went to an event and I had another meeting. I could only stay for a few moments really, and went to that event at in downtown Rockville, and the amount of people from the community of Rockville that showed up to really fight to keep them there was remarkable. I had walked to the front of the room to say hello to some folks, and by the time I came back to try to get to the elevator, I couldn't even get through the crowd. It was just unbelievable. It really warmed your heart. And of course, the city of Rockville and Montgomery County and others joined hands and said, we got to figure this thing out. And it's the same for you and for what you've done. I mean, the amount of people who really rely on in so many different ways and get to know each other in so many different ways is just remarkable. I mean, it's truly, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to keep Montgomery County going. It really does.
It does.
But I did see the one question, and people are asking, what is the address of the business and the names of the businesses? And if you want to give a phone number out so that people can contact and enjoy your services, and Roxana as well as also.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Ours, we are Soulful Cafe and Main Street Connect. We are located at 50 Monroe Place, right near the courthouse, kind of right across the street from the courthouse. We have a big like turquoise sign outside and some umbrellas so you can see us. And I will put our website in the chat. I think the really great thing is that, and I just did this a few minutes ago, right before our call, you can order online. So if you order online, you just go down and pick up. So I just ordered an acai bowl. That's my favorite thing. And everything is really organic. Most things are organic, but everything is fresh. And it's that locally sourced piece that I think Bart is so great at, is supporting local people, not just people with disabilities, but also farmers and local people, bakeries, and who bake our stuff and bake the stuff at Dawson's. And he's just such a mission-driven guy that I'm really glad the community stepped up and supported him. And I'm glad you shared that story because he's so deserving. And I believe he just opened up in DC, a Dawson's Market.
Did you really?
Yes. I think that's public. I hope it's public. It is now. If it wasn't before, he's going to kill me. But I'm really excited for him because he has this inclusive hiring structure and training practices, and he's so respectful and kind. And we want to support people that support us. So go to Dawson's and shop and come to Soulful and be a part of our community. I feel like those of us who are old enough to know this, I don't know, Roxana, maybe you are, you look awfully young, but the show Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yes.
That's how I feel when I walk into Soulful, is that you know everybody's name, and it's just this homegrown, very comfortable, welcoming environment. And it really parallels the mission of Main Street, which is providing people a place to play, to live, to learn, and a place to belong. And I think during COVID, we need that more than anything.
Well, Cheers, and I noticed that you mentioned that Roxanne looks young and Susan looks young. I noticed I wasn't on that list, but anyway, I have to tell you that it's one thing about Cheers is everybody knows your name. One thing about where where I've always said that a community is a family, and we are. And so we're not only do we know your name, we care about you. You know, this is you're part of the family. And Roxanne, can you please tell us, and I know your business is called We Art Fun, but can you give the address and a phone number, please?
Yes, the address is 19847 Century Boulevard, German, Unit G, as in giant, in Germantown, Maryland. Is right across from the library, from the Germantown Library, and very close to Black Rock Center for the Arts. And the telephone number is 301-355-4300.
And I know you are in a great location. There's good parking, so that's nice. People can park to get there. Now, I heard Jillian was talking a little bit about some of the grants that she applied for to help pay the rent and other things. Did you receive any assistance from the county, or were you able to acquire any grant funding to help keep your doors open during COVID?
No, I haven't received anything yet, actually, but I haven't applied for anything either. So, but I am expecting to do that as soon as I have time. You know, I've been busy. It's only me and my husband. I mean, he has another job, and he helps me as much as he can, but that is something that I have pending, you know.
Yeah, there are some really good programs out there. So I suggest you look into that for sure. And can you tell us a little bit about how business has changed over the last few weeks as we've slowly begin to lift some of these restrictions that we've had in place? Are you seeing a light at the end of the tunnel here as far as business and foot traffic through your store goes?
Yes, I think people are starting to be less scared about coming indoors on a business. You know, while the pandemics, before I opened the store, I was doing delivery and pickup only. And some of that people still come and just pick up and go back home and paint at home. But I think little by little, there is more people. There are people that come and they said, oh, this is the first time I go out in months, you know? So that makes me feel good, because I think they know that this is a safe place. And because things are getting better, you know, they are feeling better to come out.
Thankfully, yes, we are getting better. But May 28th, right, Sidney? We go back to full operation.
Right, May 28th is the day, but it's, as we all know, that doesn't mean that everybody's just going to run out and say, I'm going to sit inside a restaurant or a building. We're not. It's going to be over time that people feel more and more comfortable. I'll say that Montgomery County is really doing a remarkable job for the amount of people that are being vaccinated, and now that our younger people from the age of 12 to up to can start to get the Pfizer vaccine as well. But it's remarkable by the thousands that they're being vaccinated. So it takes 3 weeks after that, and then it takes 2 weeks once they get their second shot, yada. But we are heading in the right direction. Feel much more comfortable. I mean, there was a time that you were afraid to even walk outside because you just were so concerned. So, but getting back to you, Roxana, I'm glad that you mentioned, because I didn't realize that someone could call you and say, I'd like to pick up a bowl and take it home and paint it. I guess you give them the paints or whatever from that, and that they can then bring it back to you. So that gives you a whole new market there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely. We've been doing shipping even sometimes during the quarantine. And so people know that they have that option,
Yeah, that's amazing to me. I think that's what we've seen, Sydney, haven't we? With the ability of people to think on their feet and pivot to find ways to keep money coming in the door. I never would have thought of that. You know, you could probably still have the birthday party, right, Roxana? Just have the kids at wherever socially distanced at a home somewhere or outside, and then they can paint before everything started to open back up. So that was smart. Lots of kudos to you on that. That's very good. And Jillian, what about you? Are you seeing more foot traffic in the restaurant? I know we stopped over the other day for lunch. It was
Thank
very
you.
good. And it's
Yes.
exciting to just be able to go out and grab a bite to eat when you're working. Are we seeing more folks taking advantage of that?
We really are. We're almost breaking even, which tells you something. And so that's great. And I love seeing you and Mike and the dog come in, and we're hoping more and more will come. And we were, I think, seated, you know, we had chairs for 50% capacity, and now obviously when it opens we can have 75%, which will be
Yeah.
really nice. Some people are choosing to wear masks, and eventually some will choose not to, and that's okay. Hopefully those are people that are vaccinated. And we do have outdoor space, so we have some outdoor tables. So on a beautiful day, come on out. I sat out there yesterday with a group of people from Suburban Hospital who came to visit, and it was really delightful. So yes, we are open and accepting people.
And now that the courthouse is opened, you know, jury trials and whatnot, I'm sure that you'll see more and more people over time that are comfortable to walk outside and enjoy it.
I sure hope so.
And when the
and
council
Roxana,
comes back, when the council
you
comes
say?
back, right,
Right.
Sydney?
Yeah,
What
we
did you
need the
say?
council back.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We will, but I think at this point, I don't know how definite we have a date yet, but it'll be sometime after the summer. I think probably September is when we'll start, as long as everything remains the way it's supposed to be heading at this point. But Roxana, I would assume that if you could get people who go to Black Rock to know about you, that would be a good market for you as well. That's people who are obviously interested in the arts, etc. So maybe you can ask them if you can in some way contact their customers, and your customers could be contacted by them. I think that'd be a nice marriage for you.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely would be having conversations with them. They may send some of their students for summer camp here, like, you know, day trips and things like that. We
Yeah.
are thinking about that, and maybe I can sponsor some of their activities. So I will have the opportunity to let people know about us. You know, yes, we are in conversations.
That's terrific. That is terrific. Tell me, Roxana, and also Jillian, when Roxana answers, what is it about Montgomery County that makes it such a great place to do business? What are the things that you love most about Montgomery County, and why you think having a business and owning a business in Montgomery County is the right thing for you?
Well, first, because I live here. Second, because I think it's very safe. For opening this, it took us a long time, and it was worrying us for a minute because it took so long, but it was all because of safety of ourselves or of our store and our customers. So I think it's a great thing, and we need this type of stores or places for people, you know, to go out and do nice activities for the family. It's very family oriented. And there are around here in the community, there are many families, you know, communities like Clarksburg, Boyd's, Germantown, Damascus, family oriented, and they love art with lots of children too.
That's great. What about you, Jillian? I know you're a longtime Montgomery County resident. You know, why start a business here? Obviously, it is your home, but what are some other reasons why you feel that it's a great place to, you know, get your foot in the door and you know, be an entrepreneur and a business owner?
Yes, longtime Montgomery County resident, 52 years to be exact. And you know, partially the same as Roxana. Look, I live here, right? This is my home, and this is where I want to see things happen, good things happen to really good people. I think where, at least where I live and what I see, we are a really social bunch. We also care a lot. And so for me, providing an opportunity for people of all abilities and of all backgrounds to have a place to work and have a place they feel proud of, Main Street and Soulful, and have a community wrap around them, a community that cares, a community that's kind, a community of support. I'd rather be here than be anywhere. I mean, maybe in the winter, I'd like a little warmer, okay? But I don't think that's gonna change much. But in terms of starting a business here, this is a perfect place to start a business because you have this wraparound support and a really social group. And of course, we are, you know, a lot of type A's here in Montgomery County, and you know what we need is caffeine to keep us going. So coffee was perfect, right? So I think those are probably the reasons.
And you got some grants. Tell us a little bit about how you were able to stay open. I heard you mention you got some of the restaurant relief funding, and also did you get rental assistance as well? How did you?
I don't think we got rental assistance. From what I understand, Soulful, Main Street really didn't receive much, but we did receive the PPP loan, which was very helpful to pay our staff for 2 months. That was very helpful. And the restaurant relief grant we received, and the Small Business Administration Restaurant Revitalization Fund we applied to. And that got us through those 2 months of 1 month, you know, each month receiving. And when we did lose some money, and we did shut down a little bit on the weekends because a lot of people weren't coming in, but we tried to keep open a certain number of hours, A, to keep people employed and paid, and B, again, to even for people just to pop in and have someone to talk to. All of the amenity spaces were closed at Main Street, and it was pretty grim here. It felt pretty sad. And here are people moving into an apartment building in July in the middle of a pandemic. And a lot of people that are first-time renters and first-time living in an apartment. And we felt like they needed a place to at least connect with another human being. And we were offering 22 virtual programs per week to keep people connected, but you know how that is. It's different. So we tried to stay open 5 days a week, which we did, I think, through most of the pandemic. So it wasn't easy, but we were able to put a little extra money in it. Luckily we can, and we could afford to do that. And the loans really helped a lot. So thank you for that.
Well, it is so important that not only do we do these programs, but we have to know how these programs are working, and if they're not working, and because, you know, as you all know, not everything in life always comes back the way you'd like it to. If it's not working, how we need to tweak it so that it will work for the people who are the businesses and the people we're trying to help. And Roxana, I know I know Susan's going to tell me we only have a couple seconds left here, but you, I know, are multilingual. And is your business, do you have people that come to your business knowing that you're multilingual and that they can communicate with you and have a good time with the discussions?
Yes, in general, I try to make it very friendly and personalized. I mean, it's a family business. So I am getting to know a lot of people and talk with them in English or in Spanish. So what I found out is that Spanish people are kind of shy. They are afraid of asking, or they are afraid of coming in. And I invite them in and I talk to them and I explain what it is, and they get excited and they end up coming with all their families. So I am very happy about that, because I want to include everybody possible, you know, to let everybody know that this is affordable and possible for everybody.
Oh,
Right.
that is wonderful. That is just wonderful. Yes, Mr. Katz, we are just about out of time, but I do want to say before we sign off, we are taking a summer recess, the business briefing, correct? We're going to be taking a little brief break. We'll be back in September. I just want to say thank you to Jillian and Roxana, and Mr. Katz, if you'd like to take us out, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. As you know, you have never called me Mr., and I don't know why you started just now, but anyway, thank you all. Thank you, ladies. It's all ladies on this call. Thank you, ladies, for being with us. You truly are wonderful residents of Montgomery County and businesses of Montgomery County, and Montgomery County owes you a great debt of thanks as well for doing all that you're doing. So please stay in touch. And please make certain that when we get it right, you let us know. And when we don't get it right, you let us know a little faster, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.